You're listening to Support Creative Souls podcast, highlighting and supporting inspiring creatives, plus a few shoe stories to help kick up your innovative journey. Hosted by me, Stefani V.
Hey guys, we're back. Support Creative Souls. Yay. We're here at We Co-Workspace, Midtown Houston, and I'm so excited to bring another beautiful, lovely guest because all my guests are. This one is very special. Her name is Miss Alyssia Aguilar. Without further ado, Alyssia, please give us a little brief about what you do.
So I'm a graphic designer here in Houston, and I've actually been able to kind of start my platform through the Houston Latino bloggers, which really did so much for me. But I am a wife and a mother first, and so my family is always something that I'm, deeply involved in, and always trying to take care of everybody, but then also create something for myself. So that's really what I'm all about.
And I love having moms on here because I think a lot of women, a lot of moms that do watch the show struggle with the same kind of things. It's like being a creative, but being a mom first.
Really
and to really try to balance it out. And so what are some of the things that you do to do that?
Really, I would say having them on a schedule is by far the best thing, and I'm so I need my schedule because if I can't work on a schedule, then everybody's off, and so that
and
has
you
really
can't
helped.
have you time.
That has really helped. My 3-year-old right now is in school, so that has helped tremendously with a break. And then my 2-year-old, she, like I said, is on a really good schedule. So during her nap time, that's where I really find my me time, whether that's me starting with a quick Bible study just to really refresh my spirit and just keep myself growing in that sense. And then that's when I start my day with my work, doing emails, reach out, anything like that. That's kind of how I work.
Your day starts. Well, that's awesome because it gives kind of other moms insight too, set a schedule. That works for her. I don't know. I don't have my babies yet, but I know that for my dog it works. So I don't know. So tell us a little bit more about being a graphic artist, how you started. Did you go to school? A little bit of your journey.
So really my backstory is 180 from where I'm at now. I really wanted to be an FBI agent. I was all about it.
Oh,
I loved it. I was I want to roll around and just, do all these crime things.
We're one here.
So I was really into that. And then during school, I had to do a project on what you want to be. And then there's all these crucial things. You have to have perfect vision. You had to be a certain height. You had to do all these physical things. And I was I'm not that high. I don't have perfect vision.
You slowly saw your dream fade out.
So I was definitely not happy with that. So that's when I just kind of, you grow more, and I got more into fashion, and then I went to school for fashion design and merchandising. So that's where my degree is in, but I love to always sketch and to draw. So that was something that I would just continuously do. Actually, with the bloggers, with the Houston Latino bloggers, that's when I was inspired by their group, and I just drew something, and it opened the door into graphic design of, I want this as my logo. And then other people wanted similar things but different. And so it really was wow, my art can be used more than just a picture. It can be a logo. It can be for branding purposes. And now with social media being the way it is, you need content, you need this. So it was really just a big window of opportunity. So that's kind of
I think it's crazy how you have gone for different things. And it's been recently, actually, that this has kind of just dawned on you, because I know that. How long have you been in Houston? She's from San Antonio, guys.
Yes.
Are all my San Antonio kids out there?
Yes, I'm from San Antonio, and so I've been here for about three years. So, actually, maybe 4. So, I met my husband in San Antonio.
Okay.
And we fell in love, and then he was moving back to Houston because that's where he's from. All his family's here. So I decided to get up and move, and we started our family and just nested here. And so that's where we've been. But I love Houston. I feel it's obviously it's way bigger than San Antonio. So there's a lot
different.
To do
San
here.
Antonio's great too, though. But yeah.
I love it, and I love being able to just find different areas and just find different inspiration. And it's more than just
create.
me. It's my girls now that I'm, trying to inspire them to see one day.
And that leads me into, you created the Lofty Mom. So was that something that you were doing in San Antonio, like through the blog, or did you come to Houston and you decided to put the blog together? How did that start?
The Lofty Mom really started after becoming a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with my first pregnancy with Emma that I was like, wow, like I'm seeing all these mom bloggers, like what are they doing?
They're so crucial for moms nowadays.
So I was just like, maybe I can do this and share my story, my journey with pregnancy, because it was our first time and I had no idea what to expect.
Right.
So I was thinking of what kind of mom, like what words would describe mom. And so I was looking up different words, and lofty came in to play, and it's really just like something lofty is like big, and I just thought that's the input that I want on my family, on my girls. Like I want to be a big, magnificent, like imprint in their life. And so now where I'm at now spiritually, I feel like it's just kind of grown into a whole new meaning of where I carry my faith and how I want my girls to be raised and all that. So I started that, and really just hindsight of a blog and wanting to do, but it's really evolved now into a give back, into me working as a brand and also kind of sharing our story.
Right. And that kind of brings us into your purpose of what your creative endeavors have turned into after the loss of your son, Mark Anthony. And I was reading about your story on the interview, and I was just like, wow, because not only have you found purpose through your creative endeavors, but it's also you found purpose with what you're doing with your life, and on top of the fact, grieving and still raising your babies. And it just interesting how God makes it like come full circle, and you can really continue to build that and help with your grieving process in creating. So talk a little bit more about that.
So our second pregnancy, we were in shock when we found out it was
I can imagine.
Like, it's not like it runs in our family or anything like that.
And this wasn't like fertility or anything, right?
This was just me and my husband. So we definitely were shocked when we found out, because the doctor was even like in the sonogram and was like looking, and she was like, well, I think there might be, I don't know, she didn't want to say it, and we were like, oh my God, like, what is she about to say?
That's scary, like, that's,
Yeah, so we were just kind of, she's like, I think there might be 2. And we were like,
your husband faints.
So we were just like, okay. And so she finally was able to, like, the snapshot of a sonogram, and she caught both. And she's like, yeah, y'all are having twins. And we were like, wow. So we were really excited, really like just, that's a blessing in itself. So they did tell us up front though, twin pregnancies, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Right. So we're just going to really watch the pregnancy and make sure that you're doing everything that you need to. So we were like, okay. So we started having a lot of contractions, and then that's when they did tell me that I had a shortened cervix, which really is just a ticking time bomb. And so they were like, you just don't want to do too much.
They never saw that before.
Not to where it was going to be an issue. And so as we progressed, I want to say maybe like a month in, that's when they were really like, okay, this is something that you need to be careful. The more that you lift, the more that you do, it's going to start shortening more and more. So
do they have a bed rest?
They tried to, but I had my Emma, which was like not even 1 yet. And I'm constantly carrying her, doing stuff. And my family was in San Antonio. Mark's family would try to help. My mother-in-law would come. He had to go out of town for work. And so it was just a lot of stuff going on. So we really couldn't put me on bed rest as much as we would like to. So at 25 weeks, that's when we gave birth, and they were micro preemies. It was Selena and Mark Anthony, and they were 1 pound 14 ounces. So they were teeny tiny. So we had no idea of the journey that was about to unfold. And so we just knew, okay, we have to be strong. You know, they always say be strong and you can do this. And so it's just so different.
But it's like
walking in it.
Right. It's like be strong how, I think, is the biggest question now. It's like not be strong, but like how am I supposed to be strong? Like in what kind of ways, you know, because I don't think anybody going through that situation is just thrown upon you, you know?
So it was just a completely whole new world too, because I mean, everyone's upstairs on like whatever floor you're on, the 5th floor, giving birth, and then you get transferred to another floor where it's all these families that are struggling day to day, minute to minute in the NICU with their children, where you don't see that, you know, you're completely hidden from what's going on upstairs. And so when we were down there, it was really eye-opening for us to see like, oh my gosh, it's not just us, all these other parents are here for a reason. So me being the artsy crafty one, I was so excited. I was like, okay, I'm going to decorate their little space, I'm going to do all this stuff. So I definitely loved to do that and was trying to do it as much as I could for them. And that's where I noticed a lot of other little ones didn't have that. And not to say that their parents didn't want to, but maybe they just aren't as crafty as I am. So I started just making a whole bunch of artwork, and I would leave it at the front desk and be like, just tell parents, take whatever they want. And it would be little characters or, you know, empowering scripture for them to just rely on and to remember that they're not alone in this. So they started telling me at the front desk that the parents loved it, that they were just like, this is something so amazing that you're doing, and it was impacting them. But then sadly, our son got really sick one day, and they called us, and we were just like, I needed to know, because it was his nurse talking to me on the phone. I was like, is this like bad? And she's like, I've never seen it go this bad, so I think y'all need to come. So me and my husband rushed over, and we were thankfully there with him when everything unfolded, and he did pass away. But it's kind of that double-edged sword. It's like you get to have those last moments with your baby, but then you also have to see everything unfold, which is really heartbreaking for us. So it was definitely in those moments where we knew we still had Selena, we still had Emma, you know, and we knew as parents that, okay, we can either just let this crush us or get together and just be strong in a way of motivating each other to eat, you know, just taking care of each other, to sleep, let's do this. And that really is what helped us, because we knew, you know, Selena was still fighting for her life, and Emma was not even one yet, and needing mom and dad. And so that's where we really just had to take
the step up in sorrow, and realize that you still got to move forward, which is an extremely hard thing.
And then to keep going to the
hospital. Hard to say it, much less actually live it, you know?
And then, you know, and again, not a lot of people have that opportunity to still say, well, we have another baby still here that's fighting for their life. So it was a lot of like blessing in disguise that we were trying to find those little positive moments of, okay, we still have one, you know, we still have one, and she's so much more a part of him than anything else, so we need her to like fight, and we need to be there for her. So it was definitely, I mean, just the whole loss opened my eyes to a lot of different things that didn't even necessarily have to do with grief in itself, but just, you know, not judging the book by its cover. People had no idea what was going on with me and my husband, and would see us, you know, upset or crying, and it was just, they had no idea. They probably thought we were fighting or something in public, and just did not know that there was a loss that we were seriously like going through. So through that, you know, because it's easier to say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, you don't know what people are going through, but it's also when you actually go through it to know, like, just pray for somebody. Like, if you see people struggling, I'm always like, I'm just going to say prayer. You just don't know. Even if somebody has like a bad attitude, like, you have no idea what they're going through. So that's definitely something that I've tried to take
a step back from like actually what it is and process it in your own head, because most people are dealing with tons of things.
Everyone has a story. So it's definitely just how you go about it and how you're going to try.
That's why I tend to like, you know, when I see people are, you know, the whole, how are you? And people are like, you know, kind of dismiss it. But then they're like, no, how are you? You know, like, how are you doing? You know, but still, you don't know what somebody's going through that day, you know? But so It's 2019 now, and how is baby doing?
Selena is our feistiest little one ever. She's 100% healthy. You look at her, you would not know that she was a preemie at all. Emma, big sister, is great too, and I feel like they're just happy. They're happy little girls that have exactly what they need, not more. They're not spoiled or anything like that, but I feel like they will one day see, I guess, like what we went through, and I hope that they are able to understand that their brother is always going to be a part of their story as well, and how they were raised. Really, that's the bigger picture.
And I feel like now that it's gone full circle with you, this has enabled you and still gives you peace of mind and purpose when you're creating, like, because that is in mind, and that did help you in a difficult time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not only are you just doing it because you love to do it, because it does bring you back to a time where you felt like you were doing and helping make other people happy in what you were doing.
Yeah, so definitely continuing to give back the art, and now it's with a bigger purpose. It's in honor of my son, and it's keeping his name alive and keeping something for me to do that I can do, out of my own means. And I've had people donate art supplies and paper and markers and just different random things for me to just put together, and just I'll go take it to the hospital when I can. So that's always been another huge blessing, because people want to help in a certain way. So both of us, me and my husband, have been able to try to link into something to honor our son's memory.
So talk about a little bit of the things, the organizations that you've also linked up with, Erin's Campaigns for Kids, some of those things that you've gotten involved in.
Yeah, so on my website, I have a ton of resources. And that was really because while we were going through our loss, I was reaching out to people like, how do I figure this out? What people, and there's a lot of huge organizations, but I never got a response from those organizations. It's a big thing. And so with these specific foundations that I have on my website, I got personal responses from each of them and kind of learned a little bit more about all their stories and what they were doing. So I wanted those resources posted on my website, because I wanted people to know that you're going to get a response from them if you're going through this. If there's a parent that a dad that's going through the NICU, I have the NICU beard that they have like a guide, and it's for dads. So that was something I didn't want to not shine the light, because dads go through loss too. A lot of people were like, but you're the mom, and I'm like, he's the dad, like we're in this together. So it was just to help bring light for people to have those resources available.
And I think it's great that you've been able to still want to do that, because I think many people grieve in so many different ways. But I feel like, that you've been able to want to do more for other people, and it seems like then really sit and think about what's going on with you. It's like I feel like you're more wanting to give in a way to help others more, and maybe that's just a different way that you've been grieving, and that you feel good for other people to know, like, this is what can happen or what we're going through, so that you can feel the same way.
Yeah, because it was something, like I said, nobody could tell me like what to expect in the NICU. Everyone has different stories. So for us to go through, I felt like I have to use this in a positive way for if anybody is going through it, they can reach out and be like, hey, like, what happened, or how did you do this? Because you just don't know. Having to park and pay all that at the hospital every day.
It's crazy that you just said that, because a lot of people don't know, and I don't make this public, but I've just spent 2 months with my dad in the hospital from a MRSA infection he went into septic shock. And I think to myself, like, for all those people that don't have somebody to come up to the hospital every single day to see them, that don't have the money to pay at the $13 every day, it really has put in, perspective of like what you have to do to be able to be there for somebody that's in a need at a hospital.
Yeah.
And it's very draining. It's very draining, and it's very emotional, because you just don't know, and then dealing with different doctors and things like that. So luckily we've just gotten out of the hospital last week. And he's doing better. He still needs a procedure, but when the whole parking thing, like really,
and those are like little things that people just don't think about. It really adds up. And so there was actually an organization that they give like parking little things like for families to help, and they'll like donate $100 for you to just have that coin to put in every time you park. So it's just something you don't have to worry about. So that's why I was like, there are things that people don't know, you know, because you're not thinking of that. You're just thinking of the baby
going to the hospital, getting to the hospital,
trying to see. So it's just little things like that, you know, to kind of help with those resources.
And I just love though, like, so have people reached out from you from the hospital to design anything else, or have you just been donating more?
I'll just donate stuff. They have connected me with other moms that have gone through something, which one mom in particular, our stories are very similar. She also had twins, and so one passed, and so she has started her own thing where they actually did a whole, basically a grieving room for parents, because at the hospital they were at, they did not have that, and so they were literally like in a closet or something with their baby, and luckily we did not have that experience where they had a room for the family to kind of have time with the baby and before they take the baby. So they didn't have a good experience. So because of her experience, she turned it into let's raise money. And they raised so much money and were able to build an actual room, a butterfly room. And it's all in honor of her daughter that passed. And so that's something here locally that, you know, she was doing. So I teamed up with her, and I, you know, always told her, if you ever need anything, like, I would love to donate it to you. So that's something that, you know, we just don't know who you're going to meet through your stories. And so that's someone that I definitely understand where they, you know, went through and
their fight as well.
So that, you know, you see them and they did something for other people that wouldn't, you know, she could have just been like, oh, well, like, they didn't have that, and kind of like hurt from that, but she did something about it and is now helping so many other families grieve together and not feel uncomfortable with other people around them. Like, this is a safe room for them to just be with their child.
I love that. I love that you can bring something so terrible but back into helping others and helping them grieve as well. So let's talk a little bit about, I read too that you won a contest a few years back and you traveled to New York. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, that was,
because I feel like your journey has gone, I won't say full circle again, but like, you know, in really crafting what you really wanted to do as a graphic art designer and understanding, like, you started out with the fashion and you got a trip, you won a trip to New York. So like, tell us a little bit.
So being young and doing everything, really that was when social media was really starting, Facebook and people posting different contests and things, and I would always try to just do it. And it was actually the night before it was about to close. I was gonna go to the movies with my aunt, and I was like, let me just do this really fast. And I literally just sketched something, and it was for Navarro. It was a brand, and it was like a Bluetooth new necklace that they were doing, but it was like luxury, like pearls and diamonds. So they were like, create an outfit based around one of the pieces. So I did a necklace. I printed it like this big and like glued it on things, scanned it and sent it in, and, you know, went to the movies. Not a big deal. Then I get an email and they're like, you were the first place, congratulations. But because I wasn't even 18, I needed an adult to go with me. So my aunt went with me, and we just like, I mean, it was crazy. And actually we had a driver pick us up at the airport, and he was Mr. Big from Sex and the City, personal driver.
Oh, wow.
So he was kind of like telling us stuff. So it was like really cool.
Is he the one that drove off with him when they were supposed to get married?
So I was just like, oh my gosh. So it was really fun and exciting to actually go to an actual fashion event where there were people there.
Yeah, it's great.
Models and all this stuff. So it was like, I loved it. And so that's what made me continue the fashion. So in San Antonio, I just kept with that. And so I got really like plugged into a lot of fashion events there locally and through my school and just doing a lot of stuff there. And then it just, you know, faded when I met that's what I'm saying. I didn't want kids. I really didn't want anything. And then I met my husband and I was like,
life changes,
Yeah.
but that doesn't. Goals change, life change, and that your plans change.
Yeah.
I'm in that hole too. Like every week is something different, but that doesn't mean. But you just have this craft so that you can do anything with it you want. You know. So
Yeah.
what are some of the high challenges you think since being in Houston that you've had with trying to start this business?
I mean, aside from a family, I think that's one of the biggest struggles where a lot of moms and, even dads don't know how to balance it all.
Right.
They want to do their own thing and still have to work a full-time job, still have your family to take care of. And so I think that part, it's really just about maintaining some type of consistency. So for me, really the schedule just really was like, okay, Alyssia, what are you going to do in this hour? Make it count, So it was
Sleep.
like, and that's what a lot of people do. Which is true. You need to rest because there were days where I was like, I'm just so tired. And my husband would be like, sleep, you need to rest.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, fine, I'm going to take a 20, I'll take a quick nap, but
hour later.
So it's in those moments where you have to really prioritize and decide what you want. For me, personally, just based off of our backstory with the twins, and then when Selena came home, I did decide I'm not going to do a lot of stuff because we were really protecting her to not get sick, to be around a lot of crowds, and then, you bring a germ home and everybody gets sick. So because of that, I just utilized social media. And I was like, I'm just going to do what I can, reach out, email people, post my art, see what happens. And really, the Houston Latino bloggers, just really put me out there to where all the people in the group were like, I love this, and really giving me that support and, kind of confidence to keep doing it and to keep growing. And so that was really, for me, the biggest thing is basically myself and overcoming those, well, I'm a mom, I gotta do this, I can't do that, I can't go anywhere, I don't have the time, but it's really use what you have. The internet is vast. We have so much at our fingertips that we are capable of.
I think so. I think sometimes it's a double-edged sword because you're also looking on there and you're thinking I should be there to go do that, or I should be there, or I need to hire this person because they can actually probably do this for me. And then you realize the next day you might get a message from so-and-so and be like, hey, I looked at your stuff on your Instagram site, because that's where I found you. I found you on Instagram. I wasn't sure what it was which one it was that I saw, but I was like, oh, I like her. She would be great for an interview, So it just you never know.
Yeah.
And you're right. And then sometimes as a mom, you're probably like, man, I should be out meeting this person or that. But you ask me how do you do it? I'm like, girl, I don't go out that much either. You know what I mean? You really have to utilize your social media. Thank God.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I hate it. And I'm like, well, I need it,
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you show us a couple of designs that you're working on or that you've worked on?
Yeah, so I actually had one for today that I was drawing, but I haven't posted it yet. So this is our lady.
I love that.
And I try
wish my hair was that
to,
long.
right? I know. I always try to draw something that I don't have, in a sense of I don't have a little ring. I don't have these long nails. I don't have all this fashionista stuff.
Yeah, I like that top a lot.
I try to just incorporate something that is going to inspire me, myself. And then so I'll take and just tweak it and make it I would totally.
You also use a lot of vibrant colors. I think that's what really got my attention because I love that pink in there. But even the logo you did for the Latino bloggers, just so colorful and so so the bloggers just colorful women from everywhere, and it just is beautiful. So I love that. But you also said that you do unlimited Editing.
Like, you mean like designs?
Yeah, because I know, like, I'll get like someone designed something for me, and they'll be all like, "Oh, can you do this? Oh, can you do that?" I'll be like, "Okay, you get 3 edits, and
yeah,
then
so like logos.
Logos.
Yeah,
Okay.
so definitely it created into logos, and so I had a friend actually who also would do logos and stuff, and she told me, she's like, "Why are you offering unlimited revisions? Because that's something."
Revisions. That's the word. Oh my god.
That is something I love to offer to my client, which I don't think you see that in a
You
lot of
don't
graphic
at all,
designs,
period.
because one, I feel like when you have a limited set, it's putting a lot on me to be like in this bubble.
Perfect.
Like, you have to get it right and like 3 ideas, and if I don't, then it's like, okay, well, let me go back. So I feel like having that unlimited atmosphere is, one, putting me at ease. It's going to put you at ease. It's going to let us create together.
Yeah.
It's going to really see, okay, I've had clients where they're like, I have no idea what I want. And it's like, okay, well, tell me about your business. And we talk, and I take down notes. I will come up with something, and then they're like, I love it. And I'm like, okay, great. We got even one shot.
Yeah.
Then I have the other client where they also don't know, or they have some ideas, and then we'll create something, and it's like, oh, this made me think of this, or let's try this. And it's like, okay, great. And so we're just evolving as it goes, which really allows us to make sure you're not at the end of the day like, we should have tried this.
Yeah.
Or, God, maybe I should have done
Now
that.
these are for paying people, okay? You're not getting unlimited revisions if you're not paying. No.
Which I feel like I'm very like open to price, you know, especially if it's something that's not going to be as detailed. Okay, you know, let's work on this and this.
Yeah.
You know, I have different packages and different things where
That's good.
it's better for some, and some you don't need this.
Yeah,
you
because
don't have to pay
I'm always
more.
like, well, do you miss out on the opportunity to work for somebody because you know you're charging this much, or do you kind of work with people's budgets? And I feel like that brings more opportunity your way, because people are starting businesses, don't have the means, but really need a dope logo. So it's great that you work with people's budgets.
Yeah, and definitely getting to know my clients. So I feel like that's one thing that I try to do, and everything has been through email, text, by a phone call. Like, that's it. You know, I've worked with people in China that do not know great English, and we created a floaty for them, and so it was through my art, and so he actually is doing that. And so it's just different opportunities where you just cannot limit yourself. You know, language, okay, let's work around it. Let me Google like some words, and I'll try to communicate.
Thank you.
It's definitely something that I try not to limit, and especially if you're local, if you're here, it's okay, well, tell me what's going on. You know, like, what is it about you? You know, that I'm not going to try to like overprice you where you don't even need all these things. You just need something simple. So it really just ranges from who they are and what they're doing and what they're trying to do.
Right. So let's kick into our shoe segment. We're here at Creative Souls. We love shoes. And today I am wearing some Keds, and these are leopard. We're in the leopard here, but they're little. They don't have backs to them, so cute, right? So tell us a little bit about yours.
So mine are actually, they have like the cool like little zipper in the back.
I love them.
Really cute. As you can see, they have been worn.
These shoes are made for walking.
Yeah, so they actually, the reason why I chose these in particular were because before me and my husband met, these were my present to myself, you know? So it was really just like, it's my birthday, I want a cute pair of shoes, so I got them and did everything in them, doing my own thing. Then I met my husband. Then I got married. Now I have kids, and I wore them like right after because they made me feel confident and sexy, and I can do whatever I want. I'm a cool mom now. So, you know, it was definitely, these shoes have transitioned into my life now as a mom and where I'm at. So that's why I picked these. So I'm like, they've been with me the longest. They can do casual to dressy easily.
It's crazy how when I've been a sneaker person now for a while, but like when I throw on a pair of heels with just like, even this dress, like super plain, when you throw on your heels, you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it today. Right? I really got it going on today. And it just makes you feel, it feels good to feel good, to look good, even if it's just the shoes or whatever that bring the outfit together, it feels good to look good. So let's talk a little bit about your husband. I know that he does leather work.
Yes.
And so tell us where we can find some of his things. You have some of his stuff that he does?
Yeah, so he is actually named after our son, which is the second, because he was going to be the second, Mark Anthony the second. So I actually kind of got the name. I was like, you should do the second. And he's like, no, I want to be the first. And I was like, no, the second. Like, he was like, oh. So
hello, creative, not creative.
He loved it. And so he was like, okay, yeah. So
it's called the second.
Yeah, with the Roman numeral. Okay. And this is actually his little branding. So I get to get all the test pieces.
Yeah.
All the fun
I love that
things.
color.
Yeah, so I love the pink alligator. I'm probably totally saying the wrong skin of what it is. But I also have this watch band that he makes. So he does like for the Apple watches, the bands. This is something new that he's kind of playing out with, and so I was like, I want a red inside, I want a green lining, I want yellow stitching, and he was like, okay, but we're gonna go into fall, and I was just like, I'm colorful, like this is me. So he did it.
You like me because I would have said pink too.
So this is my personal piece for my husband, and then my wallet that he did for me actually has like the red lining as well. So this was just something that he's been playing with a lot. It's on his website.
Did you do his logo?
I did, actually. And not at first, I was like, well, do you want anything? And I was like, oh, I don't know yet. And so then we started playing around with ideas, and he did get something that he likes. So now that he has that, but I just love to change a lot of stuff. So I'm like, maybe we can go back and like work on new things.
Hey, he should be happy that you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think he loves it, but I'm always like, I just evolve so much. Like even my Instagram, if you look at my page, it's like pictures are dwindling because I'm like, oh, I need to change the look of it. Like I just have to always change it. Like my girls' rooms, everything starts changing and they're just like, wait, this isn't up here. Like I just have to like
that's a creative mind.
Yeah, like I just need
you gotta think fresh and new space, but that's mostly creative people. Like I'm an organizer, so I'll start organizing things to create change. My husband's like, really? Like just slow down.
Yeah, so but that's what my husband does. Everything is like customized, to what you want, and he'll do different leathers, and it's all like luxury stuff. So even like the like pieces, we
should have had you guys come on together.
Even for the hardware pieces, like he'll do it's like from Hermes, or he uses a lot of great quality stuff. So it's key. Definitely, quality is all about what he does. So
cool. Well, Alyssia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your, I'll say, beautiful story. I know it's not easy to come and talk about things, and I really appreciate you taking the time and just enlightening us on everything that you do and continue to do. And so tell everybody where we can find you and where we can find your husband and stuff as well.
Yeah, so I am on The Lofty Mom. It's my personal page on Instagram, or The Lofty Mom Art, which you can kind of see all my art and really vibrant color pieces.
Yeah,
my husband is under the second, and you'll probably find him on my stuff as well. So I'm always trying to reshare his stuff and kind of help promote him as well. So that's where we're at. So
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Please take a look at all her stuff. If you need a logo, if you need advice about how to become a graphic artist, check her out on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, please go subscribe. We need more followers. And we're here at Week's Co-Workspace. Our thank you again to our sponsors, Comida Caliente Salsa, Fragrances of Wine. And that's it. Gracias. Besos. Bye.